I'm Stephanie Watson, and I'm the author of this book called Pencilvania. It's a middle grade novel for readers ages 8 and up, and it's a heavily illustrated novel, wonderful illustrations by the very amazing and talented Sofia Moore. I'll just show you some of them. Here's one. Remember, this is a world. Pennsylvania is a world that's made up entirely of Zora's drawings. Let me see if I can find, here's a page full of, there's tons of different kinds of horses in the book, in the world of Pennsylvania. There's this cluster of self-portraits that kind of functions as like an oracle in Pennsylvania. There's just a ton of art. And welcome to episode 3 of Behind the Book with Stephanie Watson. Do. Okay, so I told you in episode 1, I made this timeline and I was talking about how here's the published book and here's the first draft, and then there's like a lot of time in between those things. And if you'll recall, like this little line meant like that's where I sold the book Pencilvania to my publisher Source Books, but there was like a lot of time in here where I was revising, getting feedback from critique partners, reimagining parts of the world that were sort of underdeveloped or otherwise needed work. I was creating sample art for myself to help myself envision the world more clearly. But another thing that I was doing during this maybe 8-year period is I was raising a child and still am. My child was born not too long after I wrote this first draft of the novel. And then I don't know if you are a parent or if you've ever known a baby or even seen a baby, you know that babies have a lot of needs, right? And so, especially in the early years, I had my hands full. I'm also a solo parent. So I had my hands full taking care of this wonderful baby and then toddler. And so one of the really cool things about being a parent is that your child creates all this cool artwork. So Ivy loves to draw. Ivy, in that way, is similar to Zora, the main character of Pencilvania. So I would save these wonderful drawings that Ivy made, and this was a cool. I love this was probably when they were 2, and so these kind of people that are like just a head and a body all in one, and then very straight stick legs and arms is typical of kids of that age, but Ivy just loved to draw people like that. Here's more of these kind of potato-ish people. These ones have really cool hair. I feel like I don't know what they're doing, but they're comparing their cool hairstyles. Here's another one. Of course, this wasn't the only kind of drawing that Ivy made, but here's another one. This is actually a little bit later, and this one has these really cool hands that I love, hands like suns, which is a quality that I gave to one of the characters in the book. But so again, back to this little timeline, right? So in this period, I was sort of still dreaming of the book, but mostly just had my hands full with parenting, but just soaking in a lot of inspiration during that time and doing as much writing as I could while getting 2 hours of sleep a night. So anyway, drawing a lot of inspiration from Ivy's art, and I wanted to give you a sense of how, something like that where I gave you an example in the previous episode how the water, those pieces of water that I had created led to the little section in the book. And this is about those potato people that I just showed you, inspired by Ivy's work. The creature's body and head were all one piece, a lumpy oval drawn in thick black crayon. the size and shape of a large potato. It had black dots for eyes, a simple U-shaped smile, and its arms and legs were just straight lines, no hands or feet. Zora had no memory of drawing it, but she couldn't have been more than 2 or 3 when she did. "Ee!" it cried, holding its arms out wide. "That's not Supermom," Zora said, backing away. "No, it's an Eep," said Errol. I should tell you that Errol is her horse companion she has in Pennsylvania. Errol has 7 legs. "They were the first creatures to arrive in Pennsylvania," said Errol. "Ee!" the Eep said again, and the other yellow doors flew open. Zora scanned the doorways but didn't spot Supermom or Sick Mom. Only potato people were peeking out, blinking their dot eyes. When they noticed Zora, they cried, "Ee!" Errol chuckled. "They're very excited you're here." The Eeps loped toward Zora with surprising speed, considering none of them had any knees. Zora caught herself smiling. She bit her lip to stop it. At this point in the story, she's very upset about something, so that's why she's kind of not wanting to show that she's pleased at seeing these little creatures. "Are they friendly?" she asked. "Oh yes," Errol said, "very." One of the Eeps lost its balance as it ran, maybe because of the no-knee situation. Its lumpy body tumbled, arms and legs flailing, bowling over 2 more Eeps. The 3 creatures rolled toward Zora and Errol. As the crowd of approaching Eeps thickened, more of them tripped and fell and rolled, crashing into nearby Eeps, which also rolled, creating a tidal wave of potato people. They rolled to a stop at Errol's hooves. And this is the image that Sofia Moore, the illustrator, created of the Eeps, which I just love. She really captured they're always smiling. They're kind of very buoyant emotionally in that way. So thank you for joining me for episode 3 of Behind the Book with Stephanie Watson. Do.